when we say core beliefs, we often extend it to say limiting core beliefs, because these beliefs are a lens that limit our perspective and limit our availability to be fully ourselves, fully authentic. As I said, they're part of conditioning, and they are, we could call it in this case now, a gateway to our vulnerability. Every belief, every core belief kind of represents a part of us that wants to integrate into our wholeness. It represents a child who wants to come home. So the practice works like this. You start with a judgment of yourself. Any judgment about yourself will do. Doesn't matter the intensity. Any judgment you have, a negative judgment about yourself. So if I think of one, simple one. I'm too needy. I don't know whether to word it I'm too needy or I'm still so dependent. Same kind of meaning. The wording is not that important. So I could have written it that way, this way, doesn't matter. Then the core question in this practice is, if that is true, what does it mean about you? If that is true, what does it mean about you? Or what does it say about you? And so I'm writing this arrow because it's kind of like a deepening. We continue asking this question until we hit the bottom. And you'll kind of know when you hit the bottom. And you might ask, is it really the bottom or is there more? I would kind of invite you not to overthink it. If you hit something that you feel like a bottom, then stay there. It's okay, it's enough. We don't have to add infinitum or add exhaustion to this process or this experience. So let's just say the first sense of a bottom for now. So I'm too needy. If that is true, what does it say about me? So it's an honest question. I ask myself that question. Well, I get my other words that were kind of waiting to be written anyway. It means I'm dependent. So I do it again. If that is true, what does it say about me? My advice, my recommendation for this process is you do it with as little thinking as possible. It doesn't need to make sense. The first thing that comes is what you put. It doesn't have to have a logical continuity or something. Because what just came in my mind, popped up a sentence was, I'm useless. I'm useless. If that is true, then what does it mean about me? I'm helpless. If that is true, what does it mean about me? I need love. If that is true, what does it mean about me? So I can feel a feeling of shame. Just a feeling of being really small. Coming back to helplessness. I'm helpless. I'm no good to anyone. I'll always be lonely. There's a sense I could go on. If that is true, I'll die alone again. And I don't need to go on. It feels like the first bottom is reached. The feeling of loneliness, of shame, fear of death. And then the next question in this process is, when was one of the first times you felt this way? Another way of putting it is, as you feel this fully, how old do you feel? And I feel like I'm around maybe 2, maybe 3 years old. And as you connect to that part of yourself, a memory or a sense of being young, being small, and then you bring self-compassion. Saying, yes, I'm welcome. This feeling is welcome. This part of me is welcome. I just get this image of myself sitting on the floor alone, looking down, this shame. I obviously can't be loved. And then I love that me, who has that deep pain and that deep belief that I can't be loved. And in loving it, in loving him, I don't try to change his experience. I don't give any reassurance. I'm not saying, oh, but you are lovable, look, I'm here to love you. No, I meet him where he is. It's so hard not to know if you can be loved. And it's so painful to feel that you can't. Yeah. So that's the process. You do the self-compassion process with the child who shows up at the bottom. Yeah.
It's like a regression practice to the earlier soul.
It's a regression practice, exactly. You're consciously regressing. You don't know where to, but the idea is you will regress because you will find the child in you who is at the bottom of this belief, this first judgment.
Our pain always goes back to the regret.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You don't wait for the child to feel better.
No.
Sit with it.
There's no intention for this child to feel better. There is an intention for this child to have a sense of accompaniment, of being accompaniment, of, of being seen, being understood, and being in company.
So being alone is an original wound. I'm alone just to feel accompanied.
You're not alone anymore in that original wound. Yeah, exactly.
Just want to say thank you, Milton, for doing it in front of the group and then also answering questions while you are being with this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
So
thank you. I also just wanted to share that I felt really touched by the demo.
and
Some
then
heart responses. Thank you.
Yeah.
Forgot about that part for myself. You could also open to heart
while
responses.
writing, while talking, while feeling. So the partner keeps on asking that question.
No.
It's the person processing. The partner is giving a silent presence.
For this part, as a partner, you just witness. And when the person reaches the bottom, you go into self-compassion space. You might reflect back some feelings, some sensations. You might affirm that you heard how old that child is. You might affirm that you hear what might be happening for that child. And you support the unconditional welcoming of all the experience.